All right, welcome back to another episode of Media Chapo Podcast. I am your man Rick, and today we are joined with a special guest again. He's covering for Serge, aka Serge Avila. He's the multi-talented. He's a director, producer, writer, photographer, and a fellow podcaster. So I'd like to introduce you guys to my man Kyle.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Rick?
Hey man, thanks for joining me and helping out again. Appreciate you.
Uh,
So, like I ask every other guest that comes onto the show, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you love movies.
as you mentioned, I am into the films. I'm into creative making films, photography, and just started a new podcast with some buddies. Um, the things I love about films and filmmaking is the stories. From the filmmaking side, like love telling the stories. I love creating the stories. The thing I love watching films is not only the stories, but the way the director tells the story, the way the director of photography, makes the visuals come to effect. So I'm more of a visual person. So between the visuals and the storytelling, that's why I love movies.
Fellow cinematographer. You like the
Yes,
imagery, man, the
yes.
ability to artistically express yourself visually. That's what's up.
Well, you said that really well.
Oh, I love movies, man. Everything about them, bro. Everything.
Gotcha, gotcha. Oh, and you can't forget about the actor, of course, the actor and their performance and how they portray a character.
Oh,
So
absolutely, man.
yeah.
Yeah. So today's episode, man, we're gonna be talking about villains, man. Who's your best bad guy?
Yes.
I like to quote Scarface, right?
Yeah.
He's like, "You'll never see another bad guy like me again."
Say hello to the
So
bad guy.
yeah, man. So thank you for bringing up this topic. This was a pretty good topic and it's very in depth. It's hard to really like bring it down or even consider trying to do like a top list because it's oh my
Yeah,
god, it's just such a vast field.
yeah, yeah.
So I guess that'll bring us to our very first question, right? What makes a good villain?
That's interesting. What makes a good villain? For me,
Hmm.
what makes a
Yeah.
good villain is first of all his swagger, right?
Okay.
He's a bad guy. We all know he's a bad guy, but how is he the bad guy? That
Hmm.
makes that makes a play a big role for me.
Okay.
Uh, how evil he really is, how ruthless he is. That makes another
Nice.
that plays a part. And why is he the bad guy?
Right.
That what makes a bad guy, and how he dresses too. Bad guys usually dress cooler than
Swag. All right.
yeah, the swagger. They usually dress cooler than the good guys. So
And yeah, that's a little bit of an oxymoron, good villain, right? Kind of
yeah,
like jumbo shrimp. So I guess to rephrase that question, what makes a villain interesting in the cinematic sense, right?
yeah,
So yeah, I guess for me it's the same thing. Like I guess you want a villain that's well developed, right?
his
Uh
story.
yeah, a really good backstory. I don't want a villain that's just gonna, kind of like who just does shit just because he's angry, he's mad.
Yeah, he wakes
Those
up one
villains,
day, decides he's going to reign terror. Yeah, I don't want that.
yeah. And like I guess like what you were saying was well, what makes a villain a villain? Like why are they a villain, right?
Yeah,
For me, I think it's all about perception, right?
yeah.
And I'll give you a really good example, right? Who is Hitler to you?
Whoa.
Is he a hero or a villain?
Of course not. He's
Ask
one of the worst people in history.
no,
Yeah,
ask a Nazi the same question. What is he gonna tell you?
yeah. I don't know. He's gonna tell me he was his leader. Yeah, you're right. It is. It's all about
Perception, man.
perspective.
Perception. It depends on who's telling the story. So
Yeah,
I think that's also really interesting when it comes to heroes and villains. About it's all about perception.
yeah.
You know, one person's villain is another person's hero.
Yeah, and we when we go through our list here, we're gonna see that's the thing.
That's
Like,
yeah, plays a
is
huge
this guy
role.
really bad, or was his message wrong? Was his delivery
Mhm.
wrong, or the way he went about it was that wrong?
Right.
Um, Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but why he became a villain, like you just said, his perspective, it's key because
Right.
that plays a major part of who he is.
All right, cool. I also kind of brought up. I was thinking about like the type of villains, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
you have villains who are seeking revenge, right?
Hmm.
Villains with delusions of grandeur that think they're serving a higher purpose.
Hmm.
And like the great Alfred Pennyworth said, some men just want to see the world burn.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, another great point of just how they became. Because there was a movie. I don't think this guy's on anyone's list. In Civil War, um, the villain of that film, Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah, Baron
Who-
Zemo.
Huh?
Baron Zemo.
That was his name.
Yeah.
That was his name. He was the guy who was orchestrating everything,
Hmm.
and he was the true villain of the movie. But we was all distracted with the two sides fighting each other.
Yeah.
His story made sense to me. He wanted revenge because his family was killed by during an Avengers attack. I believe that's
Right.
why it was
Yeah.
yeah. So his thing made sense to me. I'm like, oh, okay, I can see why.
Yeah.
Right.
He was collateral damage from Age of Ultron
Yes.
when Ultron destroyed. I forget that city. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a villain that was created as a direct result of collateral damage.
Mhm.
So.
And the two villains in Age of Ultron were
Mhm.
also well, she ended up becoming the Scarlet Witch. She ended up becoming a good guy, but at
Right.
the end of the movie, I'm sorry, a good person. At the end of the movie, at the beginning of the movie, she was the witch, and she was the
Yeah.
one who caused the whole bunch of damage.
Yeah.
You know,
She's doing what they like to do. They like to play with your head, man. Like to play with your mind, man. Mind games, man.
yeah.
Yeah, are we a couple or what? What's going on, girl?
You know what? I know what else I wanted to add to the list. What makes a good villain? His
Sure.
skills. His
Mhm,
skills makes him also a good villain. Is he a fighter? Is he a
mhm.
thinker? What's his powers? I think that plays a major part as well.
Yeah, to everyone who's listening and watching now, in the comments, let us know what you think is a good villain. What characteristics are important to
Yeah,
you, and let us know what you think is an important element to creating a really interesting villain.
gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good, man.
All right, so you want to jump into the top three villains, or is there something
That's
else you want to talk about?
no, no. Oh, yeah. Let's look at the two different types of villain, like you said. All right,
Okay,
the real life villain. Who would be
okay.
considered a real life villain? I mean, I know that's probably a terrible way to categorize it, but someone who's not a comic.
Superhero, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Comic heroes, comic villains versus real life villains. I guess you mean like an Al Capone or something like that.
yeah, and Al Capone. You know what I thought was good too? Robert De Niro in The Heat. You ever seen The Heat with him and Al Pacino?
Yeah, it was
He's the bank
Robert.
robber. Him, Val Kilmer,
Yes.
and he's actually the bad guy in that movie.
Yeah,
But we love him. We love him so much. And I'm also thinking about Ben Affleck in The Town. If you ever saw The Town,
yeah. That was. But was he a villain?
there was robbing people. He was the criminal in the movie. You know.
Valid point. Valid point. He
But
was a good guy with he was a guy with good intentions with
yeah,
bad morals. I guess
yeah, yeah. So what about you? You got anybody?
Um. Uh. Real life villains. I guess I would like that. I kind of like the Jigsaw murderer, man.
Oh, okay. I,
Yeah.
I mean, he terrifies me, but I got you.
Yeah, but he had his reasonings behind
Yes.
everything, and like for me, I kind of compared him like to the bad guy version of a Batman, right? You give him enough prep time, there's nothing he can't accomplish. Like
Yeah.
his little things are crazy.
Yeah. And I got one last one, and this is from a show. I'm not sure if you watched it tonight.
Mm,
Have you ever seen Game of Thrones?
of course.
Joffrey. Joffrey,
Okay.
King
Prince,
Joffrey was a villain.
yeah.
Yeah. I hated him. I hated him so bad, man.
Oh man, we can actually talk about that for a little bit. Villains that you love to hate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah.
Joffrey was my number one.
Yo, his death was so satisfying.
Yes, I've never been so happy.
Yeah, I don't believe in humans killing humans, obviously, for obvious reason. But when he died, man, I felt a sense of satisfaction. Like I felt like the world was right.
Yeah,
It's like,
the world made sense again. It's like, yo, he's the
yeah.
world's a better place.
Yeah, who else is like? Who's another villain? Oh, did you see the Green Mile?
Yes. When the
That
guy,
that that jail guy.
the cop, the correction officer.
Yeah, that asshole, man.
Yeah. And another one of my favorite villains I hate to love, Denzel Washington and Training Day.
Oh, really? I loved him, even as a
No, I
bad
mean,
guy.
I loved him, but I mean, I'm
Right.
sorry, he was the villain I was rooting for.
Yeah,
I was rooting
exactly.
for, he was a terrible guy, but I loved
Mm.
him.
Oh, I like that villains that you rooted for.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's good.
But
That's good.
we're gonna get that. We're gonna get into that. That's the anti-hero almost.
Yeah, I
It's
guess.
kind
Yeah.
of similar, you know. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move right into our top three villains. I'm gonna let you start off first, all right?
Oh,
Because
oh,
you seem to have this exclusive list that you're excited about. So
yes,
I'm excited. I want to hear about it. So
yeah.
who's I guess then you're not putting them in order of top three, just one of your top threes.
Just one of my top threes.
All right, go for it, man.
All right. So now this person uh,
Hmm.
is I think he is on everyone's list.
Hmm.
Um, one of my top three villains is my man right here, the Joker.
Okay. And
Yes,
this one in particular,
yes,
the Heath Ledger Joker.
yes. He
Okay.
is one of my top villains. He is the reason why is because
Hmm.
he was um he just wanted to create chaos, and he didn't care. He made sense too, you know. He
Hmm.
made sense in his theory and his performance, and it wasn't about the money for him.
Hmm.
It wasn't about the money, and I one of my top villains of all time.
All time, all time. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I think what made him a really interesting villain was the fact that every villain has a weakness that you can exploit,
Hmm.
right? He had no weaknesses.
Yeah.
You couldn't leverage family, you couldn't leverage money, you couldn't leverage anything.
Hmm.
He was like the embodiment of chaos.
Yes, that's what he wanted. He
Yeah.
really wanted, you know, and he burned all that money in that
Yeah, I
scene.
was tight watching. I was like, "Oh, you know how many sandwiches I could have bought?" I was hungry at that time too. I was watching it. I was like, "That's just crazy, man."
Yeah.
So,
What about you?
all right, for me, one of my first ones I'm gonna go with is probably the most obvious. Hold on, did I mess this up, man? Did I ruin this? No. I'm gonna have to go with this gentleman right here.
Oh, my man.
Mm,
Finger snapping Ultron.
yeah, that's Thanos, man. You said Ultron.
Ultron, Thanos. I'm sorry. Finger snapping Thanos.
Thanos.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Of
Yeah, I just.
course.
Oh, you know what? He was kind of one of those villains you kind of was rooting for because you like he has like genius level intellect, man. He's smart as hell,
Hmm.
resourceful, powerful. Talk about how powerful they were,
Hmm.
and for him, he didn't see himself as the villain, that's what I found so interesting about it. Right? That's like, and he was very logical in the way he articulated his view.
Hmm.
So even though you're like, damn, you're about to kill half the universe, you're like, I kind of get it though.
You know
You know?
what I dug about him was the fact that he said we're gonna do the when he does a snap and he does half
Mhm.
the universe. It didn't matter. It was random. It wasn't like
Yeah.
I was gonna kill this type of people. He's like, no, we're gonna, anybody can get it at this point. So I understood him. His method was all wrong.
Mhm.
Um, and that's gonna be bringing up to my next hero. His methods was all wrong, but I understand the ideology. Um, but Thanos, the classic man, he's a classic. He literally beat up all the Avengers.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He's just so powerful. Like he literally could have I guess in a way he could have just imposed his will, right? But he was like, I give you a chance to think that you have a chance because he literally could have just obliterated them, right?
Yeah.
But he's not about just being ruthless and
Mm,
killing. He even says it in one of his monologues. He's like, in all my years of conquering or whatever the case may be, he says, like killing was something I didn't enjoy. He's like, but this,
yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
Yeah.
So like for him, it wasn't about the mayhem and the chaos and the
No,
killing,
it was
because
just about the snap. That's what he wanted to do, and that's it.
yeah,
Fairy dust after that. You know.
like every fight in not in Endgame, but in what was the one before Infinity War? Every fight in Infinity War, like he literally could have just obliterated all of them with one stone. But
Hmm.
he literally gave them a fighting chance. He's like, all right, I'm not gonna go ham on you. I'm gonna let y'all feel some kind of way. I'm gonna let y'all feel a little bit of hopeful,
Hmm.
you know?
And he was the only villain in that entire series. He took he took down the Incredible Hulk at the beginning of Infinity Wars, which was an amazing fight scene. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, and then Hulk got this. It made sense.
Uh-huh.
Changed his whole life. He made him Hulk change his whole life. He made him smart. He
He
having
knocked some sense into him.
he didn't have a fight scene after that fight right there. The Incredible
And that was disappointing for me. That
Yeah, I
was a
really wanted to see them go at it one more time. You
yeah,
know,
that shit was so frustrating, man. I was hyped about that. Oh, Hulk is gonna give it to them. Oh,
yeah.
he murked his wifey.
He gave
Oh,
up
he
his
going
street life and went and became a doctor,
oh,
and he
yeah.
became
Oh
a
man,
small Hulk.
that was so frustrating. But you know what's funny is that like Hulk, his power is limitless.
Hmm.
Literally, it's limitless, but it grows gradually, right? Thanos knows this. You know, he does his homework on everybody. He knows all his shit. So in the beginning, they're pretty much equal level power, right? But Hulk is just pure rage. He has no skill.
Skill.
Yeah, he's all, you know, he's just throwing haymakers and hoping one lands and knocks you out, right? Thanos is a seasoned veteran. He's got all types of, you know, combat skill sets and stuff like that. So he, like, you don't know this, but he went in there with a plan.
I,
He knew he had to go in there and take out Hulk fast because in a prolonged fight, he loses.
I
He
knew
loses.
Hulk was in trouble when he
Mhm.
neck chopped him. I said, "Oh man, he neck chopped him." I said, "Oh, he's in trouble. This guy's a fighter. He's in big trouble." Uh,
He's that Spock move and
I
Hulk
said,
was,
yeah, he couldn't breathe. I was like, "Oh, he's in trouble, man." But yeah,
he was just so composed, so well composed. He was just
yeah.
like
And you know
just
what?
walked up to him.
His boys didn't even jump in. He was like, "Yo, let him have his fun."
They knew the deal. They knew the deal.
I said, "I'm up." My
Yeah,
number.
go ahead, man. It's all you.
All right. So my number two, as I was
Oh, you
mentoring,
you mentored your number two, so you're the reason number two exists. You mentored
as
him.
as I was saying,
Uh,
uh, I like the ideology of this guy was
mm.
there for me. I but his methods were all wrong.
Mhm.
So my number two is going to be uh Killmonger.
Okay.
Yes. Killmonger is my number two. Um why? Because like I said, his ideology was there. I understood where he was coming from and his perspective, right? We
Mhm.
mentioned perspective earlier. He saw someone from Wakanda kill his father, right?
Right.
And he saw his father looked at us as an outcast, and it bothered him. It stuck with him, and he made a promise that he was going to go back there, right, in the movie.
Mhm.
And then when he was like, "Yo, for people of color, especially in this particular African Americans,
Mm.
they've been struggling in this country in the United States, and they've been beaten, and we all know the history."
Right.
And he goes and says, "Where was you guys at? Where were you? Why you never came and did anything?" And I'm like, "Yo, I get where he's coming from. You know,
Right.
he was but he became a little radical, and he was like, all right, now we got these weapons, and now we're gonna just create chaos and rage.
Eye for an eye.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what.
yeah, yeah. So I was with him with his idea, but then his methods was all wrong.
If it wasn't coming from a violence perspective, and he actually wanted to, assist,
And
but no,
enrich.
yeah, but he was just about, y'all effed us, we gonna F you.
Yeah, exactly.
He just had that eye. He was just like pure rage, man. He was hot. He was
Yeah,
heated.
yeah. He was cool.
But
He was cool to me.
yeah, but another thing he had that a lot of these other villains also have is something we forgot to mention is ambition and motivation, man.
Mhm.
That drive, that relentlessness, it's just like they have a goal and they're gonna reach that shit, like my man Malcolm says, by any means necessary.
Okay, that was a Martin voice with a Malcolm. Okay, I got you.
Okay, my bad.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was good, man. And one of my favorite lines is this your king? This is your king.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite lines.
Yeah, he sunned the shit out of him big time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, man. But
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
he did definitely lost that fighting scene.
Yeah, but that like that character, I really, really enjoyed that character too. His performance and everything. I love his dialogue in the movie. I like his confidence, man. It's like he went to their house
Yeah.
and made himself comfortable.
No,
He's like,
he didn't make him comfortable. He became king.
yeah, exactly.
He became king.
I like when he came to present his story. He was like, "Y'all sitting up here all comfortable and stuff."
Yeah. And his other flaw to me was that he made it about himself, right? Because when he decided to burn the herbs, so it could be the next Black Panther.
Mhm.
So he wasn't so much about he was about moving his people forward, but he also had a selfishness about him too.
Right.
So that's when I kind of like, all right, dude, you got to go now.
Yeah, all right. You had some great ideas. You were heading in the right direction, but you went 7:30 there, brother. You didn't, you threw tradition out the window, and you said, I'm gonna take the part of the culture that I like,
Mhm.
but only for me.
Yeah, I'm
Y'all
the
can
only Black.
have kids. That's it. I don't plan on having no kids because I'm mad at the world. We're gonna finish right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, definitely, really, really good choice. I really enjoyed it, and what I liked about that because every Wakandan obviously had an accent, but he was in the hood, and they allowed him to bring that accent, and it makes sense. Let's say because I have friends who are like this is a weird mix, like Asian and Jamaican, right? And he looks 100% Asian, but he speaks with a Jamaican accent. That shit threw me off, but that's how it is. Like when you grow up somewhere else, but you look like something else, right?
Yeah.
It messes you up. Like I thought he was making fun of Jamaicans. I was like, oh shit, his impression's on point. But he never stopped. He never stopped. I was like, oh shit, this is the way he talks. Yeah, exactly. I was like, he was on his Tropic Thunder, man. He was like, I don't break character to the end credits.
Oh man, well, I gotta watch that movie again. I love that movie.
Yeah, so that was good. It was really good. I guess we'll jump into my
Number
two guy. Yeah, like this guy. And it's gonna go into our other topic with their performance, man. Like this guy is just he scares you.
Oh
Like
boy.
with how precise he is. And the man I am talking about
I know who this is.
is
I got
oh,
an idea.
No,
I
you
got
don't. You have no clue.
Let's see.
Boom.
Oh,
Colonel Hans Landa.
wow.
Oh man,
See, I would have he is an example of our real life
villain. Yeah.
Wow. He
Man.
scared me, bro.
Yes. Yeah, his transitions, bro. His transitions, right? He'll talk to you with a smile on his face, and then all of a sudden he'll just say,
and he had a German accent.
Oh, like I felt that like he pierced my soul when he spoke. Like his performance was
opening scene too. Oh my god.
Like he was awesome. He was brilliant. He was a genius. He was relentless. Like all the qualities of a villain, right? Intelligent, opportunistic, arrogant, ruthless. Like he had all those things, man. Like he could charm the shit out of you, right? I'm sorry. I said he could charm the shit out of you, right? Because he had like all the etiquette of a upperclassman, and he spoke so many different languages, and he could charm you just from talking to you. It's like he had like this gentleman like approach, right? But he could switch that shit up and put the fear of God in you with just that look. Remember the scene with him and the lady that he let go in the beginning of the movie? Yeah. And he ends up he knows who she is, and he gets the little snack or whatever. And he's like, no, wait for the cream. It's just like
yeah. It was at the restaurant.
Yeah, and he's doing all that on purpose. Make her feel uncomfortable. Yeah, he's a psychological assassin, man. He's like, and he's like, he's telling her, right? He's really smiling and making her feel comfortable. And then the delivery, he's like, I wanted to ask you something, and I forgot what his line was, but then his face switches and he gives her this death stare, this look, like to let her know, like, I know exactly who you are. And then he just switches us. But for the life of me, I can't think of it. Like, how are you gonna eat after that?
He is such a great actor, man. That character is pretty similar to the character in Django Unchained too.
Yeah,
he plays the dentist in Django Unchained. Very similar character, but that guy was, I forgot his name. What's his name again?
Christoph Waltz.
Yes, a very, very good actor. Very good actor, man.
I love
very psycho, and he's like the kid that plays with the mouse. And, he has guys. He has them, but he plays with give him think he has hope and chance. Wow, good pick, man. Good surprise.
Yeah.
That was a good surprise pick, man.
And what I love about him is like, all right, again, with this whole hero villain, how he's bordering on that, because like, yes, in this movie he was a villain, but he was also very opportunistic, right? Because he also switched sides.
Yeah, he did,
because it was to his benefit.
Yeah.
Good
pick, bro.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I
Let me
tried.
this is
I
my I all my villains I kept with the super
Oh, you kept
villain.
within the hood. All right, hey,
Okay.
cool.
This guy again, ideology, I
Hmm.
understand it. Methods, not so much. But this Magneto in particular,
Oh,
I
that,
was digging.
okay.
He was he first of all he had the swagger. He
Right.
dressed the part.
Hmm.
um and he wanted what was best, right? First, as you can see in the Days of Future Past, I think that's the first one.
Hmm.
Oh, and actually, First
First
Class, X Men
class, first
First
class.
Class.
Right.
Yeah, he just was full of rage, and I guess it's kind of fitting that the villain you just mentioned was a Nazi, and Magneto is very anti-Nazi.
Mhm.
He's a result of that
Right.
destruction that I guess you could say your villain created.
Hmm.
Um, and his reasoning was because of he felt that he had two things going against him, man. One, he had the Nazis that he had to live with, and his whole family was torn apart by it. And then he had the other issue was he was a mutant, and he had the humans to deal with. So just a person full of rage, and but he said he really didn't want to harm humans. I mean mutants. He only wanted to harm the humans. So
Yeah, that's like
I dug him a little bit,
he was
Uh,
basically Hitler.
I, that's not what I'm saying, but yeah, he was good, man. He was good,
Yeah.
but he also was on a defensive. I think that whole mutant and human thing was pretty much started by the humans. That whole war between humans and mutants was pretty
Right.
much started by humans.
Yeah, it's all about it's the idea of being afraid of the unknown, right? I think that's a human character flaw, right? We fear the things that we don't understand. And actually, if I could just pull it up really quick, just this dialogue from my last villain, Colonel Hans Landa. He basically talks about he's trying to clarify why people hate other people, right? And he gives an example of you know a squirrel and a rat are essentially the same creature, give or take the fluffy tail. And he says, you know, we don't know why we don't like the rat. We just don't like him.
Hmm.
He was like, if a rat came into your house right now, would you welcome him with one of your warm cups of milk, a delicious glass of milk? And he's like, no, I will not. Right? He says, you don't know why you don't like him. You just don't. He said, my job not to explain or something why I don't like him. I just do my job and I'm really good at it.
Nice, nice. Again, he goes back to the intellect. He was a smart guy, man, and
Oh
his respect.
man, I would not try to go into no verbal judo with that guy. He'll make me second guess my existence and shit. He's just so smart.
Yeah. So those are my three villains. Not saying they're the worst or the best, but those are
Right,
my three.
just some of ours, right? Some of ours. All right, so for my third one, right? I was thinking about inclusion, right? Keeping the ladies involved, getting the ladies in on this, right?
I know where we're going with
And
this. I think.
I wonder if you kind of touched on it earlier. I thought like, oh, you gonna say it? No, but you didn't. We're gonna go with
Yes.
Cersei Lannister.
That's what I was thinking.
Hmm.
That's what I was thinking. You know what? You touched on this point. Hit
Hmm.
Joffrey's death was satisfying.
Hmm.
The one thing, well, season 8 was not the best of Game of Thrones, right? But the
Hmm.
one thing I feel like they stole from us
Hmm.
was seeing her die,
Right.
the tragic death. I
Yes.
want to see Arya kill her.
Man, she was probably the most ruthless female villain in history, man. Like she didn't care. She was into like preserving her bloodline by incest, having keeping the bloodline pure, which I think it was normal back in that time. Wasn't exactly accepted, but I think they used to do it a lot. It was about preserving the bloodline and stuff like that. So I hate saying and stuff like that. I gotta stop saying and stuff like that.
After you said it, all right.
Yeah. No, but I really liked her, man. It's just she was super ruthless. Like she one of her plans backfired on her when she tried to get like the church involved to try to like help her with her cause, but that backfired on her. And what
Shame,
happens? Yeah.
shame, shame.
Hmm.
But it's
But
very
shame on them because
yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, yeah. She went through, you know what? She went through so much hurt too. She lost her son. She lost both of her sons.
Hmm.
Uh, her daughter. She actually lost
Hmm.
all her kids.
Right.
Uh, she was in love with her brother,
Hmm.
who ended up not being in love with her, ended up being in love with the bodyguard. Um,
Right.
she had a rough life, but she also was the cause of a lot of destruction. And
She had every opportunity to garner peace, and she
yeah.
chose no.
But interesting point here, she wasn't the worst. Um, some would say the mother of dragons ended up being
Oh,
even worse than her,
I agree.
because she gave him death from above as she promised
Hmm.
early in the earlier seasons. She had no reason to burn King's Landing to the ground. She already was winning.
No. Yeah.
She
And
already
that
won.
goes back to another Batman quote, right?
Mhm.
When Two Face says, "You either live long enough to
Yeah,
become the hero, or something." Yeah,
yeah,
you know the saying. You know the
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Live long enough to watch yourself become the villain, and she just personified that to its fullest.
Totally unnecessary, but I guess she had to. She That was the most one of the most unnecessary things of that show. I didn't see the point of it.
What
She
the
won.
dragon?
Her
The mother
burning
of dragons.
her burning down King's Landing after they was already given up and everything. So
Yeah, she lost it though,
yeah,
and then she lost it when her boo was trying to reason with her, and he was like, "But what about the people's choice?" She was like, "They don't know what's best for them. We'll tell them what's best for them." And that's when he said, "I tried to reason with you. I
but
had the knife."
you got to see where she came from. That show
Right.
from the beginning of the first episode, raped,
Abuse. Yep.
raped, sold, everything. Like she says, she was from nothing to something.
Right.
You know, so good. Another, I mean, and I good. That's a good lead point. Transition to our next topic, which
Mhm.
is the anti-hero.
Ah, yes, 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 yes,
I would
yes.
consider her an anti-hero. I
Okay.
would consider her an anti-hero. It's a very it's a loose summarization of her, but
Mhm.
she's there. She's there.
I
And I'm sorry to cut you off, but
okay.
another person in that series would be considered anti-hero is the Hound, which
Mhm.
was one of my favorite characters throughout the whole entire piece.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. But for those of you who don't know exactly what an anti-hero is, right? An anti-hero borders on that gray area where superheroes see black and white, right? Just good or evil. The anti-hero borders on that gray line. They're willing to kill for the greater good. They're willing to do things that a hero won't do. Like heroes have morals and values and lines that they won't cross. The anti-hero says everything is fair game.
Yeah. And anti-heroes make, as far as storytelling goes, from the
Mhm.
filmmaker perspective, anti-heroes are amazing because they make the characters so complex. It's
Right.
like, how do we feel about this guy,
Mhm.
or girl or person and whatever? How do we feel about them? Are they right or are they wrong? So
It's
I
funny. I
I
just forget. I'm sorry.
I love the anti-heroes. And speaking of that, they're getting their own genre now. Some of these anti-heroes are getting movies. We saw a few. We saw Venom,
Yeah.
another anti-hero
Yep.
who ends up becoming a villain. What else we saw? The
He
Joker.
was, he was a villain first, and then
Yeah,
became an anti-hero. Yeah.
yeah. You got the Joker.
You consider the Joker an anti-hero?
Yes.
Hell.
No, I'm
I'm
talking about
like,
no. The Joker in this movie, the latest movie, he's an anti-hero. I feel like
okay. The one with Joaquin Phoenix?
yes. I mean, you could disagree with me. You don't think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think he done lost his shit. He's dealing with mental illness and stuff like that, so he's not all there. I don't know if he's making logical decisions
Mm-hmm.
because of his mental illness. So
Gotcha. So, okay.
no, but I want you to elaborate more. I want to hear this. Like, what? Like, why
Oh,
do
I
you
see
put him
it.
in anti-hero? Yeah.
And that movie, the reason why
Right.
he's the anti-hero is because the system itself failed him.
Okay.
He was a person who was sick, deal with mental illness. Right? He had a mental illness disorder. He was he wasn't right in the head, and
Mhm.
the pressure of the world came down on him, and he became this. He took on the demeanor of someone who was anti-system.
Okay. So he was a hero for a specific group. Then you could say for the most part. So yeah, I guess it does qualify in a sense.
If
Uh,
you think, I'm sorry to cut you off. If you think about it, he he didn't do any harm to anyone until it was done to him in that movie.
mhm,
When he killed the guy in his living room, in his couch. I mean, I'm sorry, in his apartment with the small person was there. That was an intense scene. The train scene when he killed those people, they were messing with him.
right.
He was a guy just down on his luck and ended up becoming who he became.
Yeah. So is he
So
one of your favorite anti-heroes?
no, she's not one of
Absolutely.
my favorite anti-heroes. I would say favorite anti-hero. I am thinking, I don't
Punisher.
know. Who?
Punisher.
There you go. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm thinking the Punisher because I have a list here. I'm thinking the Punisher.
Mhm.
Punisher may be, oh, Punisher. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Punisher.
Yeah, he's solid because in his head he believes he's upholding justice, doing the right thing. But
Yeah.
again, he's by any means necessary, man.
Mhm.
I think that little phrase sums up pretty much what an anti-heroes is. They have no boundaries.
Yeah.
They
I'm
believe.
sorry if you hear things in the background. I think Joe Biden was just announced president, and a lot of people celebrate outside. That's why if you hear anything, yeah. So I'm sorry about that. That's
No,
why I
no,
had to
it's
look.
okay. He said,
Yeah,
"Cuckoo."
yeah. It was just like people yelling and screaming. I just got the alert. Sorry about that.
All right.
Uh, so yeah, here's another one for you, Catwoman,
Yeah.
anti-hero. For me,
Yeah.
she's an anti-hero. Would you consider Deadpool an anti-hero?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think he's the epitome of anti-hero.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, yeah, he gives no F's, bro.
Yeah. And he uses a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly. Dropping F bombs left and right. That's actually a great, great, great choice.
What about
Deadpool.
Batman?
He falls in that category, but I think he has definitive lines that he won't cross.
He gets very close across to them.
No, he does, but he's not quite. He doesn't have the same moral standards as a Superman. But he definitely flirts with it. And that's the line. He like, I see. I go. I'm gonna put my toe across that line. I'm gonna put my toe across. He flirts with the line.
You're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to break your number one rule to defeat me.
Yes,
He
yes, that
tells
was
you that, and he doesn't do it.
yeah.
So speaking of the Joker,
Mhm.
can we have this debate? Can we
Absolutely.
have this discussion? And you know I'm going with this.
I don't think
And
it.
can we have it? Who
Absolutely.
is the best Joker? Matter of fact, we're not even gonna be able to answer that.
Right.
Who is your favorite Joker? Right?
I can tell you who my worst was out of that group, and it was the Jared Leto Joker. I hated the look. I hated the aesthetics. Whoever designed that Joker was bored,
Mm-hmm.
just trying to be super creative. But I think we agree on this one. For me, I think it's Heath Ledger's Joker.
Heath Ledger Joker is number one.
Mhm.
To me, he's number one. And I'm gonna surprise you here with this one. Who I say my number two would be. I'm gonna put it back up here one more time for us.
Okay.
My number two is the Maniac in this image right here.
Yeah, I never seen him.
He is the Joker from um
Show, right? The Batman show, the Gotham City, whatever.
Joker. Yo, this kid, he's not really a kid anymore. He's the actor who played and Shameless.
Mm.
He's the homosexual kid in Shameless, the
Okay.
redhead. He does an amazing job portraying the Joker. Heath Ledger's number one. This guy is tied
Wait,
for number two.
tied for number two?
Yes.
Okay, who you side with?
I gotta go with Joaquin.
Joaquin Phoenix. All right.
But my issue with, and me and Serge was talking about this, my issue with the Joaquin Phoenix Joker is that we didn't get to see, we know he becomes the Heath Ledger Joker, right? Or
Mm.
someone like it. We didn't get to see that. The seeds wasn't planted there for me. Like I said, he was a guy who the system failed
Right.
and he just became angry, right? But the Heath Ledger Joker is a planner. he came up with all these intricate plans on how to create chaos. So that was my only disconnect. But I know they're coming out with more movies of the Joker, so I'm gonna be patient. But he's my number two. That kid and Joaquin Phoenix.
All right, that's not bad. That's solid. But what I think what I most liked about the Heath Ledger Joker was that he felt like he could exist in our world today. He felt grounded in reality. He didn't feel like a superhero comic book
Yeah,
thing that's so
very
fake.
realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why I think that's what I loved about it. He made it felt like, what do you call it? It felt like he could exist in today's world.
It was real life. It was. But you know what? That's interesting with the DC characters. You feel that.
Right.
Well, a lot of the DC villains, you say, all right, well, this is a real thing. Um, yeah, he's mine. Those are my number two. I don't know. Number three, I think I will have to go with Jack Nicholson.
I was just about to say, you better say his name because you're about to get jumped when you leave your house. But I saw your podcast. You did not give Jack Nicholson his due.
This was amazing, but he was the joke, the more playful Joker, right?
Right.
It was psychotic,
Mhm.
like, and Joaquin Phoenix was just the regular guy. He was a regular guy who just had bad luck.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they would have made a live action version of the animated series Joker.
Okay,
And I
they
think Jim Carrey would have been the perfect cast for that.
if he was a recast of Joker, Jim Carrey.
To play the animated version of the Joker, like that type of Joker.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I there's another Joker on it's actually on Netflix now. The Killing Joker.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a movie by Warner Brothers. Um, if you watch that movie, it is literally the same thing, very similar to the Joker of Joaquin Phoenix. That whole scene when he has with Robert De Niro and
Mhm.
he ends up killing him, that's in the animated series when he does that. So another great Joker for me too. You know,
Oh, kind of like I don't know what he would fall under. Would he be villain or anti-villain? I don't know if you're familiar with the animated series characters, but have you heard of Red Hood?
oh yeah, from Batman.
Oh man, just huh?
Isn't isn't he Jason Todd?
I think so.
Robin?
Yeah, he was created by the Joker essentially.
Yeah, I mean, Batman has some of the funniest and coolest villains.
So just imagine a villain who you've essentially trained. He's like your parallel. He knows all of your moves, and you got to go toe to toe with this guy. Yeah,
You
for
can't.
those, yeah, for those of you who haven't seen Red Hood, man, go check that out, man. Really, really good animated film.
Yeah, DC does the best animated films. DC
I
does animated films.
I
I don't
gotta
know. Marvel, the movies, the live action movies are great, but DC, they always, really good with the animated.
I gotta give it to you. That's true. So true. Even the Justice League series is pretty good. Also,
Yeah, yeah.
the animated one.
War of Worlds is my favorite. It's when they finally assemble, and pretty good, man. I do got to go back here. I feel like we was naming villains, and I forgot to name my man right here. I forgot to name Bane and the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, how dare you?
You think darkness is your ally? Yes, yes, one of my favorites.
Definitely a good choice. And I also, now that you mentioned that, I also remembered one. Let's see if you remember this. I don't know if she would fall. I guess she would be a villain, but she wasn't terrorizing the world. She just terrorized one person. And I got to go with, I think her
Harley
name, no, Annie White, Annie Wikes, Wilkes, Wikes.
Oh, so we just naming villains there, right?
I like it, bro. You remember her, right? From Misery?
Mhm.
Man, that
So-
hobblefoot scene. I was walking like a cripple for a minute, bro, for after watching that scene.
Bro, I got another one. Since we going through the villains,
All right.
this one, I'm not gonna put up the picture.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, Scar. Scar. Yes.
Yeah,
Scar.
you can kill your brother. You a gangster ass villain for sure.
Yes. For those who don't know who I am talking about,
Mhm.
I'm talking about the one and only Scar and the Lion King. Let me get a picture of him real quick. Just so people know this is real.
This is real. It's legit, legit.
This is like this is a real life thing for me. I hated that man, that lion.
Oh yeah, he made you feel some kind of way.
Yeah. So uh oh, sorry, wrong thing. Anyways, we know who he is, Scar.
I kind of look like him right now. Yeah, eye scar right there.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
That's good stuff, man. Well, I think that pretty much brings this episode to an end, man. It was I had fun talking about it, man. Villains are very interesting characters, and thank you for coming along for the ride, man. Appreciate you. We'll definitely love to have you on another show down the line, man.
I
Appreciate you.
appreciate you having me, and this was great, man. I love discussing villains. They're so complex. We love to hate them, but
All right,
it was, it was
I'm gonna do like one of my favorite shows, Hot Ones. I'm gonna give you a little 15-second plug to talk about your podcast and where they can find you, where you can be located.
oh, man. All right, so right now, I am part of a podcast called The Workz. We discuss everything from life, dating, uh, personal experiences. It's me and my two co-hosts. Um, as you can catch us right now, we haven't released any episodes, but we have a podcast called The Workz Podcast on Instagram. So right there, that's our first piece of social media, and that's what we're going with, man. And Rick, hopefully one day you can come
Oh,
and bring your sense of humor and
ab-
your ideas to the podcast one day.
absolutely. And I'll put a link to his Instagram page in the comment section or in the description below, so you guys can find him easier. And yeah, well, you're working on a few projects right now, right?
Yes, I am. I'm, like I said, amateur filmmaker.
Soon,
Um,
next best thing, man. Pay attention.
we wrote a few projects that we are in post production right now. Um, One project that we're really excited about is a Date of Love. It's a love story about two strangers who meet each other, and events happen, and they end up spending the day together, and they have to decide if they're going to move on with their lives or they're going to try out love. So
I read
it's
the
a
script. It's a really
project.
good. I enjoyed it.
Yep, and we got some other stuff coming up too. So, and I'm also working on a anti-hero piece too.
Uh,
I'm not gonna talk too much about that, but I'm also working on that as well. So
I can't wait to see some more of your work, and hopefully, I'm telling you, man, you're gonna be with this drive and motivation, man. You're gonna be up there, bro.
appreciate it, brother. Appreciate
Spike Lee move over, the new
it.
king.
Yes, the goat. That's the goat right there, man.
All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in to Media Chop Up Podcast.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Leave us some comments, and also I'm going to put into the description our Facebook group chat. So you guys want to join that group chat where we share ideas, and you give us ideas. And if you guys want to be guests on the show, also, I'll be awesome. We could do like a little thing where we get together and just talk a lot of stuff about movies, man. If you love movies, man, this is where you want to be, man. This is I don't want to curse because somebody said I curse too much, but yeah. All right, see you guys next time. Again, thanks so much, Kyle. Appreciate you, bro.
Man, great show, bro.
All right.